All right, we'll start off by calling to order the regular meeting scheduled for today, which is October 27th at 9 a.m. Taking roll call. Mike Kruvda, chairman, is here. Do we have Sam on the line?
Present, here.
Do we have assistant law director, Tony, on the line?
I'm here.
All right. Do we have assistant clerk of council, Tara Pete?
I'm here.
And last but not least, deputy clerk of council, Lisa Ciofani.
Present.
All right. All right. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes for the regular meeting that was scheduled on Tuesday, September 15th, 2020?
Yes.
Any questions or comments about those minutes? All right, hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the regular meeting held on Tuesday, September 15th, 2020.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Moving on to reports, there are none. Also, no unfinished business. We do have one piece of new business, which is a memo from Assistant Law Director Tony Morgan regarding payroll certification by the Civil Service Commission. So I had a chance to read the memo, and I do understand the three primary requirements for certification. However, I'm a little concerned that the CSC has not complied with past certifications by signing payroll sheets after payroll payments have been made versus prior to issuing payroll. So Assistant Law Director, what is the impact of those past certifications?
Well, those were done in good faith and also no harm, no foul. Now that we understand it should have been prior, we can start to do, when you know better, you do better sort of thing. So we can start to move forward with that. So it's not going to have any adverse impact, certainly not on payroll. Okay.
Also within the memo mentions all interested parties. Who are all the interested parties to inform the CSC of all the concerns and the ideas for revisions regarding this issue?
Well, for payroll purposes, primarily it's the two chiefs because their employees are the ones that we're certifying. Also, the auditor has some concerns and input. I just this week, the chief of police happened to be in my office, so I asked him about this, and he's not interested in any input. Whatever we decide, he's fine with. I haven't talked to the fire chief yet, and I think the auditor has some concerns about how this might work as well. As long as we comply with the statute, it doesn't give us guidelines as to exactly how it has to be. It has to be before a warrant is issued, which is basically before the checks are written and approval is given. We're just saying that these people are on our civil service rolls, that it's up to date, and that they should be paid. As far as legally, more often than not, this particular statute is used in the sense of somebody's contesting that they didn't get paid and that they're on this roll and they're certified to be paid. So our circumstance doesn't really come up, and nobody's challenged it as far as someone having to do this or not having to do this. I'm sure there's a variety of ways to do it. Why the state legislature, and this is a pretty old ordinance or statute, why they thought this was so very important. The reasoning may have declined over the years, but nonetheless, the statute's still on the record, so we need to comply with it. But they've left it open-ended as to how we do that.
Do you have any suggestions on how we could handle it moving forward?
Well, we had the best setup in a payroll sheet. But now that we have we've gone to electronically doing that. So I'm looking for perhaps the auditor can offer something. I know her original suggestion was when these people are initially certified, whether that's enough that are sworn.
On a one-time basis?
Yeah, but I don't believe the way the statute's written, that's quite enough. But other than that, if we can figure a way, it can still be a list of who's upcoming to be paid. And as long as that list is accurate and we certify it, I think we're on solid ground with that.
Okay.
Do you know, have we reached out to like another municipality to see how they do this? Maybe for
No.
like best practices?
The information that I gave you in the memo indicated in case law, the places I had found and what their manner of doing it was. And it looked to be pretty similar to ours, that they were actually certifying a list. But there's not a lot, like I said, there's not a lot out there to guide us because it's not something that usually gets litigated, especially not in this direction. Like I said, it's usually somebody who didn't get paid. So we're pretty open in the way we can do it. Do you want to hear from the auditor and get her input before you decide? Because that's perfectly fine too.
I believe I would, yes. Has she made any suggestions to you, he or she?
Just the idea of when people will initially get sworn. And that doesn't necessarily come from us. It could.
Mhm.
But like I said, the way the statute is written and the way it's been interpreted through the limited case law that's out there, it looks like they're doing it every time there's a payroll. So I think that is the safest way to go. But exactly what kind of a list, because it indicates it has to have names on it. It can't just be everybody who's sworn gets paid. It has to be a list of names.
Yeah, and obviously that list changes.
Right, it doesn't change that often.
I agree with you too, Tony, just because of the fact that, now that we've gone electronic, we have to go through these ongoing audits. So just to make sure that we're complying with all these ongoing audits, I think it's a better idea to do this, not on a one-time basis, but each and every time prior to issuing payroll.
Right, and we can look into the idea of, rather than hold a meeting to do this, because look into the idea of maybe an electronic signature too, because this is going to come up every 2 weeks, and that's not necessarily going to coincide with our meetings. So that issue has to be addressed as well.
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
fine. I'm perfectly fine with electronic issues. Go ahead, Tara.
the way our payroll system works right now is every 2 weeks, we have to certify our payroll. So that day came yesterday. We go into the system and the department head goes in, verifies time, makes sure forms are properly input, and then the department head hits approve. So for instance, police and fire, the chiefs would be approving that time, I believe. We would have to discuss with the auditor, but perhaps we would add an additional layer that the chairman would go in or somebody on the commission would go in on these dates every 2 weeks and certify it after the chief has. Literally, it's not an electronic signature. It's just a button you would click that says approved.
And I would get access to this system?
Yeah, we would have to discuss the intricacies of how it will work with the auditor, but I was thinking that in my mind, but it'd have to be done every 2 weeks on Monday because the auditor's office runs payroll and and checks go out on Friday.
Okay. I would be fine with doing that on an ongoing basis, so long as I get the reminders. I just want to make sure that I'm on top of it because obviously what's most important is that everybody gets paid on time.
Right, that would cause a problem.
Yeah, obviously. But I'm okay with some sort of process like Tara just mentioned. I'm okay with that.
Okay, all right, well, let me talk to the auditor. If she wants to talk to you directly, we can arrange that. If she can come up with a system or a procedure We can put it in the memo and then we'll craft a rule that indicates how we're doing it.
I think the rules should also include some sort of business continuity planning, just, in an instance where maybe I'm unavailable, out of the state, out of the country, sick, whatever the case may be. Just a backup plan, just in case I am unavailable to sign these timesheets. So
Okay,
recommend
you're-
that maybe Sam be my backup plan, because I know in the past that I used to sign off on these timesheets when Nick was unavailable. So
that makes sense.
So just so we know, we also have a rule in place that mimics ORC. So if we do change that, which it sounds like we're gonna clarify it, we also need to change the rule. I think it's under administrative, in Rule 1 or 2.
okay.
So hopefully by our next meeting, we can have that ready for your signature then.
Okay, when is that next meeting scheduled?
I think we have to present the rule, but we can't vote on it at the same meeting we present.
Is that the, oh,
I
okay.
think so. I'll have to verify
All
that.
right.
Okay,
So I think you'd vote on it in December.
all right, works for me. Sam, work for you?
Works for me.
You willing to be
Can't
my
believe it's
backup?
December already, though.
I know. Okay. Anything else on this topic?
If anybody has any questions or thinks of something later, just email me, text me, call me, whatever.
Okay, perfect. So we won't be taking any action on this new business at this time, so we'll wait to take any sort of action during the December meeting. If there are no further questions or comments, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Later.
Thank
Have a good day.
you. You too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Talk to you guys soon.